Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadameyam Radati Svabdantikam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Uttapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Suvaishtamam Sat Sri Rupam Sangrajatam Sagna Raghuhanitam Tam Sajibam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Dimam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Lalitha Sagna Siddhasam Satya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gabravangi Radhe Vrindhavaneshwar Prishamanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhatta Vrinda Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudarit Nastapray Shabdreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagati Tomasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today's verse is 3rd canto, 26th chapter, 41, 42 and 43. Tasmadaham vigata vikla Prasutam Sanjeevayate Akhilashatidara Swadhamna Anyam Chahastacharana Shramanatva Gadim Prana Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam. Now, 3rd canto, 26th chapter, 41, 42 and 43. Yes, Prabhuji. Rupa Matra Dvikurvana Tejaso Daiva Choditha Rasa Matram Abhutasmat Ambo Jiva Rasagraha Rupa Matra Dvikurvana Tejaso Daiva Choditha Rasa Matram Abhutasmat Ambo Jiva Rasagraha Rupa Matra Dvikurvana Tejaso Daiva Choditha Rasa Matram Abhutasmat Ambo Jiva Rasagraha. Prabhuji, Mataji, some devotee can say the word-to-word meaning.
Rupa Matrat, which evolves from the subtle element form. Vikurvanat, undergoing transformation. Tejasaha, from fire. Daivachoditaha, under a superior arrangement. Rasamatram, the subtle element taste. Abhut, became manifested. Tasmat, from that. Ambaha, water. Jihva, the sense of taste. Rasagraha, which perceives taste. Translation purport by Dvandre says Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By the interaction of fire and visual sensation, the subtle element taste evolves under a superior arrangement. From taste, water is produced, and the tongue, which perceives taste, is also manifested. Purport. The tongue is described here as an instrument for acquiring knowledge of taste. Because taste is a product of water, there is always saliva on the tongue. Jai Shri Prabhupada, the transcendental purport ki jai.
Jai. Now next one, verse number 42. Kasayo madhurastiktaha katva amla iti naikadha bhautikana vikarena rasa eko vividyate. Kasayo madhurastiktaha katva amla iti naikadha bhautikana vikarena rasa eko vividyate. Kasayo madhurastiktaha katva amla iti naikadha bhautikana vikarena Rasa eko vididyate. Yes, Prabhuji. What meaning translation, please? Sadashiv Prabhuji? Any Prabhuji Maharaj, please? Word meaning and translation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, I will read this.
Hare Krishna.
Kasyaha astringent, madhuraha sweet, tiktaha bitter, katu pungent, almaha sour. Iti thus na ikada manifoldly, bhautikanam of other substances, vikarena by transformation, rasaha the subtle element taste, ikaha original one, vibhidyate is divided. Translation by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Although originally one, taste become manifolds as astringent, sweet, bitter, pungent, sour, and salty due to contact with other substances.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Now we'll go to the verse number 43. Kledanam pindanam traptihi prananapyayanondanam tapapanoda bhuyastvam ambaso vrattayastva imaha. Kledanam pindanam traptihi prananapyayanondanam tapapanoda bhuyastvam ambaso vrattayasta imaha. Kledanam pindanam traptihi pranapyayanondanam tapapanoda bhuyastam ambaso vrattyastva imaha. Yes, Prabhuji. From Prabhuji or Mataji, please say word to word meaning, translation and purport, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Kledanam, moistening. Pindanam, coagulating. Tripti, causing satisfaction. Prananam, maintaining life. Apayana, refreshing. Undhanam, softening. Tapa, heat. Apanoda, driving away. Bhoyastvam, being in abundance. Ambasha, of water. Pritaya, the characteristics functions. Two, in fact. Ima, these. Translation by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The characteristics of water are exhibited by its moisturizing other substances, coagulating various mixtures, causing satisfaction, maintaining life, softening things, driving away heat, incessantly supplying itself to reservoirs of water, and refreshing by selecting thirst. So, Prabhuji, purport bhi padna hai?
Yeah, purport, please.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Starvation can be mitigated by drinking water. It is sometimes found that if a person who has taken a vow to fast takes a little water at intervals, the exhausting of fasting is at once mitigated. In the Vedas, it is also stated, apomaya prana. Life depends on water. With water, anything can be moistened or dammed. Flour dough can be prepared with a mixture of water. Mud is made by mixing earth with water. As stated in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, water is a cementing ingredient of different material elements. If we build a house, water is actually the constituent in making the brick. Fire, water, and air are the exchanging elements for the entire material manifestation. But water is most prominent. Also, excessive heat can be reduced simply by pouring water on the heated field. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji Mataji. Prabhuji Mataji, please recite few times. 41, 42, and 43, please.
Hare Krishna. Rupa matrad bikurbana tejasha daiva chadita rasho matram abhut tasma Ambhojivarasaggraha. Hare Krishna.
रूपमात्रा मात्राद्विकुर्वाणात् तेजोस्तेवासोदितात् रसमात्रामभूत् तस्मात् अपो जिह्वारसग्रहात्.
कषायो मधुरस्तिक्तः कट्वं ल इति नैकधा भौतिकानां विकारेण रस एको विभिद्यते.
कषायो मधुरस्तिक्तः कट्वं इति नैकधा भौतिकानां विकारेण स एको विभिद्यते.
Next verse. Prabhuji and Mataji, anyone? Next verse.
Vedanam pindanam tripti pranopayodhanam tapa tapanupapanando bhuyashtam ambaso vrittasya teyatva imaha. Vedanam pindanam tripti pranapayo nanodhanam tapa Panodo bhuyastvam ambaso vrittasya imaha.
Yes, Prabhuji, we'll go now to the verse now for the class. Prabhuji and Mataji, this particular chapter of 3.26 is a fundamental principles of material nature. So we are trying to understand the fundamental principles of material nature here. But one thing, before we go to the, we'll go a little background of earlier verses so quickly, before going to the current verses 41, 42, 43. Before that, I want to tell you all, Prabhuji and Mataji, what is the purpose of reading this particular chapter of fundamental principles of material nature. Srila Prabhupada says in one of the purport, by understanding the science of devotional service in Sankhya philosophy, one can become free from the modes of material nature. The eternal self, after becoming freed from the spell of material nature, becomes eligible to enter into kingdom of God. So our purpose of reading this understanding, most of the time we know, Prabhuji and Mataji, our veteran people have taken the classes. It is little complicated to understand the material nature, but purpose of the studying is to understand modes of material nature and become eligible. Ourselves, we should become eligible to go to kingdom of God. And Prabhupada very clearly says, as long as one has a slight desire to enjoy or laud it over material nature, there is no chance of being freed from this influence of nature's material modes. So as long as we have a slightest desire to enjoy this material nature, this material world, there is no chance of becoming free from modes of nature. Therefore, Prabhupada says one has to understand the Supreme Person of Godhead as explained in the Sankhya system of philosophy by Lord Kapila Deva. So this is a basic purpose of we are reading this. Although this chapter is a little complicated about material nature and so many things are there, we'll just try to revise now one by one. For the earlier verses, we have what we have seen. Now, from the verse 1 to 4, from this particular chapter 1 to 4, Kapila Muni says to Devavati Mata that he wants to explain different categories of absolute truth, by knowing which she will cut off the detachment from the material world. So knowing which any person can be released from the influence of material modes of nature. This was told in 1 to 4 verse. Now, verse number 5 to 9, Kapila Dev explained to Devavati Mata the relationship between material nature and living entity. So here, Prabhupada Mataji in 5 to 9 was two things we need to know, very important. Number one, material nature only creates all the forms of living entity. So we are all created by material nature. And because of our forgetfulness with the Supreme Person of Godhead, we accept material nature as a field of. This is first thing. So material nature is a cause for all the living entities, including us. And because of our forgetfulness of our relationship with Supreme Person of Godhead, we accept material nature as field of activity. Second point we have to understand is material consciousness is the cause of our conditioned life. We have seen in many classes, and so many Prabhus have explained us, we are in conditioned life. And the problem is the conditions are enforced on us. We are not free. We have no freedom. We have no control over this condition because we are in conditioned world. So material consciousness. What is the causes for conditional life? Material consciousness is the cause of our conditioned life. Soul cannot do anything and is transcendental to this material nature. Now, Prabhupada Mataji, in this I want to remember Kalaka Chakra Prabhuji once he told in the class the relationship between the soul and living body is explained here. Living entities, Kalaka Prabhu said, it is like a project. How the soul and our body is connected. Like a project. In the project, there is a project manager and there is a project team. Now, project manager is in charge of entire project. But who has to work? The project team has to work. So if project is a failure or success, project manager is responsible. So, but project manager is responsible for failure or success, but he doesn't do anything. He just supervises. Entire things go depend upon project teams. This is how soul is responsible for activity. This is what is explained. Soul, it says in 5 to 9, soul does not do anything, but is transcendental to such activity, but affected by conditioned life. Also, here we say the feeling of happiness and distress of the soul. Feeling of happiness, one other thing, is this feeling of happiness and distress of our soul basically is transcendental by nature, but caused by spirit soul itself. Here, how spirit soul is causing? Because spirit soul has a freedom to engage in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada in the 3rd canto, 26th chapter 8, he says, if so desire, spirit soul can change this conditional life of activities by choosing to serve Krishna. Living entity is a cause of his own suffering. But when he wants to engage in Krishna consciousness, suitable body is offered to him by internal potency, the spiritual energy of Lord. And when he wants to satisfy his senses, so when one wants to engage in Krishna consciousness, spiritual body is offered. And but Krishna, by the so his supervision, but material nature is offering. And when he wants to satisfy his own senses, material body is offered. Now, this is about 5 to 9. Now, we'll quickly go to the other points only. In 10 to 14 verses, Kapila Muni explains Pradhana, Prakriti, gross element, and subtle element. In 15 to 18 verses, Lord explained time factor. Now, here, time factor is a main cause for fear of death. It is a time factor. And it says, Supreme Person of Godhead adjusts all his different elements, keeping himself within a super soul and without a time factor. Now here, Krishna, time factor is a representation of Krishna. Krishna is there in the heart of all of us as a super soul. And outside, Krishna is there as a time factor. So this way, he's within as well as without, he's controlling this material world. In the verse 19 to 30, in the verse 19 to 32, we have seen mode of goodness. We have seen mode of goodness. Mode of goodness is a clear understanding of Supreme Person of Godhead, and which is evolved from Mahatattva. At the same time, in these verses, we have seen material ego is also coming out. A material ego is predominantly endowed with the active power of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So, in these 19 to 32 verses, we have seen mode of goodness, which is clear understanding of Supreme Person of Godhead. But after mode of goodness comes material ego. From material ego, what comes? Passion, goodness, and ignorance. Very important to remember, false ego of goodness give the mind. false ego of goodness gives the mind, false ego of fashion gives intelligence, and false ego of ignorance gives the sex energy. Now, in these verses, one more important thing, entire material manifestation comes from the sound. Entire material manifestation comes from sound, and sound itself and material entanglement. Because from material ego, one first comes goodness, then it comes false ego. Now, false ego in the mode of ignorance start with the sky and sound. Sound, from the sound, sky is coming. Why sound can mitigate entire material entanglement? Because of chanting holy name of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So the material manifestation come from the sound. Beginning of the material manifestation come from sound, but our existence in the material world, it can, and it will completely, entanglement can be removed by sound only. Now, next, in the verses 33 and 34, sound and sky is explained. Activities and characteristics of sky can be observed as a accommodation of room for external and internal existence of the living entity, namely field of activity, vital air, senses, and mind. In 35 to 38, Kapila Muni explained to Devavati Mata quality of air, that is softness and hardness, and cold and heat are distinguishing attributes of characterized as a subtle form of, so softness, rudeness, cold and heat are of touch. These are all the qualities of touch, which is characterized by subtle form of air. By interaction of air and substance of touch, one receives different forms according to the destiny. Now, the last two classes, 39 to 40, and 39 to 40 talks about fire. The form of fire, 39 to 40, yes?
You little bit,
Hare
your
Krishna.
voice was cutting. Can you just go a little bit behind? You are 35 to 38. Can you repeat again? 35 to 38. Yeah, please. Sorry.
Yes. In 35 to 38, air is explained and quality of air is elaborated. Is it okay? Clear, Prabhuji? Now sound is okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Sure, sure. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Softness and hardness and cold and heat. Softness, hardness, cold and heat are the qualities of touch, which is characterized by subtle form of air. Okay, this is a, actually I am just summarizing in 2-3 sentences only, because there are, these verses are in detail. We have already seen these verses. And 39 to 40, in the last two classes we have seen the fire, form of fire appreciated by Afalgan. Fire is appreciated by light and its ability to cook, to digest, destroy, cold, evaporate, and give rise to hunger, thirst, eating, and drinking. Prabhuji, is it okay? Should I become a little slow or it's okay?
Yeah, it's fine, Prabhu. That's good, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So, having seen all the verses now, we'll come to today's current verse 3, 26, 41, 42, and 43. We just read now. The translation of 3, 26, 41 is, by the interaction of fire and visual sensation, subtle element taste evolves under a superior arrangement. From taste, water is produced, and tongue, which perceive the taste, is also manifested. 42 talks, although originally one, taste becomes manifold as astringent, sweet, bitter, pungent, sour, and salty. So it's all how the taste is changing. Sweet, it becomes bitter, it becomes pungent, it becomes sour and salty. How it changes? Because of its contact with substances. 43, Kapilaman is saying, characteristics of water are exhibited by moistening other substances, coagulating various mixture, causing satisfaction, maintaining life, softening things, and driving away the heat. Now, We'll now see the qualities of water, Prabhuji Mataji. In the purport, we have seen what is the quality of water. Now, Prabhupada says starvation, when we are hungry, starvation can be mitigated by drinking water. It is sometimes found that person who takes a vow of fasting, but he takes little water, all exhaustion is gone. In our Vedas also, it is mentioned, apomaya pranaha, means life depends upon water. With water, anything can be moistened, damp, flour duff can be prepared and mixed with water. Mud is mixed with water and earth. Fire, water, and air are exchanging factors. Prabhuji, Mataji, note this one. Fire, water, and air are exchanging element for the entire material manifestation. But water is most important. This entire manifestation, you only say fire, water, and air, but water is most prominent. Also, excessive heat can be reduced simply by pouring water on the heat. Now, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we will see in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is 3.6.6. When the manifestation is created, 3.6.6, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu enters the universe and he fills the universe with the water. Provision Mataji. Verse says, Hiranyamaya sa Purushaha Sahasra Parivartasaran Anda Kosha Uvasapsu Sarva Sattopa Brahmitaha. So, material manifestation in the beginning, Lord, when the Mahatattva is entering various divided into universes, and each universes, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, first he fills all universes with water. The translation of this 366 is Gangatic Virata Purusha, known as Hiranyamaya, lived for 1,000 celestial years on the water of universe, and all the living entities lay with him. When this Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu was sleeping for 1,000 years, Prabhuji Mataji. See, after the Pradhana, it becomes Prakriti, that become Mahatattva, and from Mahatattva, all universes are created. Lord Vishnu, as a Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, enters all the universes. Okay, each universe he enters, and from Mahatattva itself, all living entities are divided into various universes. Now here, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu sleeping for 1,000 years, and all the living entities are also sleeping in his body for 1,000 years. After Lord entered each, and the purport of 366 is 3, 6, and 6, Prabhuji, 3rd canto, 6th chapter, 6th verse. After Lord entered each and every universe, as a Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, half of the universe was filled with water. Cosmic manifestation of planetary system, outer space, etc., which are visible to us, is only one half of a complete universe. So, when we see the universe as half, it is half which is not filled. Before the manifestation take place, and after the entrance of Vishnu with the universe, there is a period of 1,000 celestial years. All the living entities injected with the womb of Mahatattva. Yes, 3.6.6, Prabhuji. All the living entities. In the last one, we will see. Yes. Further down, Prabhuji. Little down. Yes. Yes, all the living entities injected in the womb of Mahatattva as divided in all universes with the interaction of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. And all of them lie down with the Lord until Brahma is born. So, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is sleeping in this universe, and then all the living are sleeping until Brahma is born. Now, I'd like to give one more example of importance of water. In Adi Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, one Sivananda Sena offered food to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He offered food to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which was cooked with the excessive ghee. And next day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell sick. Murari Gupta, you all probably know that Murari Gupta is a physician and he is a devotee of, is associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and devotee is Lord Ramachandra. Murari Gupta gave a treatment to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is the treatment? Murari Gupta gave some water to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is cured. So natural remedy for indigestion is water. Drink little water, he says. You all know Murari Gupta was a physician and he gave the water. So this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, this particular pastime is there. Now, about the importance of water, Prabhuji, what science says about the water? About 60% of our human body is water. About 60% of our human body is water. According to some H.H. Hitchell journal, Biological Chemistry, brain and heart are composed of 73% of water. And lungs are about 83% of water. The skin contains 60% of water. And muscles and kidneys are 75%, 79%. Even bones are watery. Babies, now the babies are most born up 78%. Baby's body, 78% is water. By 1 year of age, that amount dropped to 65%. In adult man, 60% of body is water. Now, one more important, Prabhuji Mataji, carbohydrates and protein in our body is metabolized and transported by water in the bloodstream. Our whatever we eat from our food, carbohydrates and proteins are taken. These proteins are in the bloodstream are pushed by the water. And one more most important thing, water only pushes waste material from our body. So this is a scientific background of the water. Our waste material going through the water. Prabhuji and Mataji, we know water is important for purification, for washing hand and legs, and while doing Arati Achamana, water is important. And in Bhagavatam, see devotees are washing lotus feet of Krishna and Sadhu, and they are sprinkling water for purification. So water, that is important. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Vamanadeva and Bali Maharaj, there also we all know the story that Vamanadeva comes to Bali Maharaj for a charity, the Tripushta plant. Then he requested charity. In one of the verses, when charity, before charity is offered, water is important. In 8.20.16, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Sukadeva Goswami continued, even after being cursed in this way by his own spiritual master, Bali Maharaja, being a great personality, never deviated from his determination. Therefore, according to the custom, he first offered water to Vamadeva. He first offered water to Vamanadeva and then offered him the gift of land he had promised. So it is a custom in our Vedic literature. So Srimad Bhagavatam, from pastimes of Vamanadeva and Bali Maharaj, we can see before offering charity, water has to be poured in. Also, we all remember Shringi. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Shringi is a Brahmana boy who cursed Parishit Maharaj. I don't want to repeat the story now, but Shringi, he was a very powerful Brahmana boy. He sees that Parishit Maharaj has put a dead snake on the Hare Krishna Prabhuji Mataji. Shringi, when he sees that Parishit Maharaj, he is so powerful that he can visualize. Parishit Maharaj has put dead snake on the shoulder of his father. Then Shringi becomes angry and he starts saying that these kings have lost sanctity. They don't know what is their duty. Brahmanas have to be respected. Citizens have to be respected. By he himself is insulting. And with the disappearance of Krishna, they have become proud. All this he says. Then before cursing, what Bhagavatam says, son of Rishi, it is in 1:1836, son of Rishi is red hot with the anger, touched the water of river Kaushika while speaking to the playmates, and he discharged the following thunderbolt words. So Shringi, before cursing Parishit Maharaj, he touched the water of river Kaushika. So this all talks about importance of water in Srimad Bhagavatam in the various pastimes. There are so many other pastimes in the Bhagavatam where importance of water is explained. Now, Prabhuji and Mother, we'll see Prabhupada's lecture. I want to take the shelter of Prabhupada's lecture because these verses, otherwise, the sanctity verses cannot be better explained. Srila Prabhupada's lecture in 3:26:41, he says, This verse, Prabhupada says, this verse, he says how water is manufactured. Just like when one body is heated, there is a perspiration. Water comes from perspiration. Similarly, the same process, we get water, it is called ambo. But background is, Prabhupada says, Daiva Choditat. We get water for, and water is manifested here. Kapila Muni is explaining to Devati about the water. But what is the background? Jaiva Todita. Daiva Chodita means everything's coming from into existence from the senior superior management, that is Krishna. Everything is coming to the existence on the account of superior management or superior impelling, not automatically. It is Daiva Tojita. The water is coming from material manifestation, but it is under the supervision of Lord Krishna. By entirely, Prabhupada says, by entirely, which means we have to depend on Krishna. Then things will go on. He has got such a fine machinery. First thing is that he is seated in everyone's heart as a Paramatma. Sarvasya, we all know, Sarvasya Chaham Radhi Sannivista Mattaspat Janam Apoharam Cha Vedesha Sarva Aham Veda Vedyo Vedanta Krividya Deha Cham. So, as a super soul, Lord Krishna gives instruction to perform respective duties. Then, but Prabhuji Mata, this you note here, chance is given. Krishna, chance is given to the personal living being to take this chance, but not misuse this little independence. Chance is given to everyone. And Krishna's another business is, he does not interfere with the little independence given to living beings. This is very wonderful. Huh? Krishna is giving us a chance, but it does not interfere with the independence given to the living being. So we must voluntarily surrender his little independence. Prabhupada says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Shanamuja. We know this is a verse from Bhagavad Gita. He does not interfere in the independence, but Krishna, he gives you something. And again, he does not ask you to return it back. No, Krishna has given us, and that is permanent. He has given us little independence because why Krishna has given us little independence? Because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is fully independent. He does not depend on anyone. But although we have got independent to some extent, but we are under the control of Maya. This is called Yoga Maya. In material life, there is a Maya. That is called Yoga Maya. So we have a little independence. We are just small, like a small children. He has given us either of the mother for taking care of us or to nurse for taking care. He has given mother for taking care of us. Material nature is mother. Little child must be taken care of either by a mother or by appointed nurse. He says we need protection. Therefore, he says Mahatmanastu Mahapartha Daivim Praksitam Ashritaha. They are also given protection. Daivim Prakriti Ashrita. Therefore, we chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So we are all given protection. And we take the shelter of Hare Ram. Why we are saying Hare? Because it is a Krishna's energy. So first of all, we take shelter of Krishna's energy, Devi Maya, that is Radharani. If we take shelter of Devi Maya, Radharani, then she will give intelligence in such a way that we can shelter of Krishna. And that is a perfection. So Devi Maya Ashritaha. As soon as we become under the shelter of Devi Maya, then our business becomes Bhajanti Ananya Manasa, simply serving Krishna. No other business. And in material world, as long as we are under the protection of Mahamaya, we got many things to serve. Bahushaka hi anantas. But when we are under Devi Maya, then our only business is to serve Krishna. That is, Prabhupada says, that is our original constitutional position. When we are in the material world, we have so many things to do. But in spiritual consciousness, we have only one thing to do, Prabhuji and Mataji, that is only to serve Krishna. Now, then he says, Janmari asya yataha. Janmari asya yataha means original source is Krishna. And he also says that Janmari asya yataha, we know it is the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. He also says, Aham sarvasya prabhu matta sarvam pravartate. Matta sarvam pravartate. This is a real science. Everything is coming from Krishna. So whatever we possess, listen carefully, Prabhuji Mataji, whatever we possess, physical transformation, gross body, subtle mind, intelligence, everything is produced from the original source, Krishna. So same thing, when it is utilized by clear understanding that everything is emanation from Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna, so let us utilize it for the Krishna service. Then we are situated in Devi Maya. Mahatmanastu Mahampartha, Devi Prakta Ashita, Vajanti Ananamanaso, Putadam Avyayam. So this Devi Prakati, as a result of Bhajanti Ananya Manasa, without any deviation, they are engaged. Devotees are engaged in Krishna service. When devotees are engaged in Krishna service, this is the perfection of life, Prabhuji Mataji. Our perfection of life is engaged in devotion service. He says, Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Krishna has nothing to do with that. Those who are desire to serve him, then Krishna gives him intelligence. So Krishna has nothing to do with this. Those who want Krishna, he gives intelligence to serving him. He does not, but one thing we have to note, he does not depend on your service. He is quite sufficient. But he assumes, says, I am a statue of stone. I cannot dress myself. Please dress me. See, this is a chance given. It is not that Krishna is dependent on us. He has given us a chance to dress him. That's why Prahlad Maharaj says, Prabhupada is saying, Prahlad Maharaj says, Kaumara Acharit Prajno, Dharman Bhagavata Iha. This Krishna consciousness must be incalculated, must be taught in very beginning of our childhood days. Now, Srila Prabhupada talks in next verse, 326.42. Prabhupada says, we have this mixing of water with earth. This is chemistry. Chemistry means mixing of different chemical produced in another element, just like a soap. Soap is a mixture of fat and soda. So whole world, the material world is nothing but tejo varibadham vinimaya, exchange of elementary, earth, water and fire. Just like we cook something, ghee, we cook items with the ghee, salt and turmeric. Therefore, and salt and beautiful taste come. Therefore, Krishna is his Yogeshwara. Same earth is there, same water is there, but seed is different. So one tree is coming to produce chili, another tree is coming to produce tomato, another tree is coming to produce mango, different taste. Mango is taste, mango is sweet, tomato is sour, and chili is pungent. But these things are required varieties. Although source is one, source is earth, but earth contains all other 5 elements. Chitir ap tejo varibadam yoma. So everything is there in earth. Everything is there. But the expert handling of Prakriti, and behind Prakriti, Krishna. So in this way, Prabhupada says, from the earth, we see different trees are coming. Mango tree come, chili tree come, and tomato. And different taste is there, but basic is same, earth. And how? By the expert management of Prakriti. And who is there beyond Prakriti? Krishna. That's why Prabhupada says, Maya Dekshana Prakriti, Suyate Characharam. The scientists are saying simply Prakriti is the cause of these varieties. But that is not the fact. Prakriti is not a cause of this variety. That is not the fact. Prabhupada said that is not the fact. They are not mixing together. Original, I mean to say, manipulator is Krishna only. He has got multiple energies, subtle laws. He is working. By mixing together, you require another one. So otherwise, automatically you cannot, soap cannot be there. He says there is a raw material. There is but soap cannot be produced automatically. Somebody has to prepare a soap. So entire material manifestation is done by Krishna. Behind Prakriti, Krishna is there. So we have to understand in that way that so many varieties, natural variety, they're all not coming out automatically. The blind scientists say, they are automatically coming, but that is not a good sense. Nothing can come automatically. Matter cannot come from together automatically. There is another example, the potter's wheel. Potter's wheel is producing earthen pot. Prabhuji Mata is, when we see pot, now, earth is not cause of the pot. There is earth and there is a wheel, and somebody has to use the force to prepare the pot. So behind the pot, there is somebody who is using his energy. So this is what example, very good example, Prabhupada says, potter's wheel. The cause is potter. And here he says real cause is Krishna. Sarva karanam karanam. Ishwaraha Paramakrishnaha Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govindaha Sarva karana karanam. Now, he says we have to be, have we understood he is the cause of all the causes, Sarva karanam. We have one duty, that is Haritoshanam. Haritoshanam is our ultimate goal. Unfortunately, due to this Kali Yuga, everyone claims God. The small scientist is claiming, I am God. But Prabhupada says, great scientist, Einstein, he accepted brain is working. He said, God's brain is working. He appreciated God. And Prabhupada says, he is a great scientist because he acknowledged God. That is a perfection of knowledge. So, our duty is, Swanutistasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. Unless Krishna sees that you are trying to glorify him by your knowledge, then he becomes satisfied. He says, I have given him some knowledge and he is utilizing this knowledge for my glorification. He is my devotee. Krishna says, I have given him knowledge, he is utilizing and he is my devotee. Prabhupada says, very important, Prabhuji, here, devotee's business is to glorify. Devotee's business is to glorify. He does not take credit for himself. Actually, there is nothing to take credit. All credit are going to Krishna. Devotee neither claims, neither it is possible. Even he may very, very big devotee, he will never claim any credit for his glorious activities. His glorious activities means to make Krishna glorious. How wonderful it is, Prabhuji. The greatest devotee's glorious activity is to make Krishna glorious. That is his glorious activity. Not like so-called materialists, that they want to take credit. Prabhupada says one example, sun is rising exactly in time and it is exactly setting in time, and temperature according to different season changes. Don't think that sun is working automatically. No, it's not automatically. Master is there. Who is the master? Krishna is there. So we see sun today. Who is the master? Krishna is there. Only under his expert management, we enjoy sun, we see water, we see fire, we see everything material manifestation. Supreme Lord Krishna is expanding various energies and potencies. But Srila Prabhupada says, by expanding his energy, his potency does not come down. And he says, Purnamadam Purnasya Purnam Eva Vasisate. He is complete. Nothing is energy. His energy does not come down. If you take whole energy from Krishna, then also there will be energy in Krishna. That's why he is Sarva Karana Karanam. And Prabhupada quotes the Brahma Samhita was, Yasvai Kanishwati Takalam Athavalambhya Jivan Tiloma Vilaja Jagadandanatha Vishnur Mahasayasta Kalavisesu Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Brahma Samhita 5.48. He says, this verse says, millions of universes are coming out within the breathing period of Krishna. And again, they are annihilated within the breathing period. So, that is our God. We accept such kind of God, not a little magician. We accept such kind of God, not little magician. No, that is not possible. We cannot accept such cheap gods. We accept Krishna, who is Sarva Karana Karanam. Who is Sarva Karana Karanam. So, we want to be eternal servant. That is our actual position. Jivera Sarupahaya Nitya Krishna Dasam. This is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now, coming to the last verse for his Prabhupada lecture, Prabhupada says in this verse, analysis of water is explained. In this material world, we are suffering because of tapa. Tapan vindati maithunam agaram ajaha. It is simply because of tapa. Tapa also means heat. Tapa means unbearable, miserable condition. Therefore, tapa comes from tapa. Please note here, tapasya means voluntarily accepting some unbearable condition. Tapasya means voluntarily accepting some unbearable condition. Of course, soul is not affected by favorable or unfavorable condition. Mind being affected by material contamination, we are suffering so-called miserable condition of life. It is due to the mind. We have seen Bhagavatam verses also about the mind. So, mind being affected by material contamination, we are suffering so-called miserable condition of life. It is due to the mind. Otherwise, Prabhupada says very good one question. Otherwise, how one man is satisfied in very poor condition of life, whereas another man is not satisfied even in the best opulent condition of life? How it is possible? One is poor, he is enjoying. One is rich with all opulence, he is suffering. So he says our material contamination is only because of mind, our suffering only because of mind. Therefore, whole process of spiritual life is required. The spiritual life is a peaceful life. Material life is not peaceful life. Ahankara vimudatma. So there are so many varieties. Why material life is not peaceful? Because there are so many varieties of desire in the material life. Therefore, one cannot be peaceful. This is not possible. When one enters to spiritual life means to revive our spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness. Then we can become happy. It is also stated in Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada says, we have to know Bhoktaram Ejjatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suradam Sarvabhutanam Jnatnam Mamsam Satyati. So one must understand that we are servant. And in this house, master is proprietor. Krishna is a master, Krishna is a proprietor, and he is an enjoyer. I am simply the servant. Then he is peaceful. So the big secret is told here by Srila Prabhupada. We have to understand Krishna is a master, Krishna is a proprietor, he is an enjoyer. I am only the servant. Then you are peaceful. But in material world, what happened? We artificially try to become master. Although we are servant here, we artificially try to become master, and that causes all disturbance. So our miserable condition is because of our thinking that I am the proprietor, I am the owner, I am the enjoyer. One become this. Prabhupada nicely says this is a disease actually. Actually, we are servant of Krishna. Jivera Sarupahaya Nityara Krishna Dasa. Our original position is servant of Krishna. And we are servant. Even in this condition also we are servant. But we are servant of Maya because of illusion. We are servant of a lusty desire, Kama. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. We are all servant of these propensities. We are not, but actual practice, we are not the master. Bhoktaram Ejasarvam, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Suroram Sarva Bhutaram, Jnantamam Sat. So Krishna is enjoyer, he is a proprietor, but he is a master. Mind is very restless. The whole yogic process is meant for controlling the mind. Because unless you control the mind, mind has volumes and volumes of desire and hundreds of billions of desire. How we can become Shanti? How we can where is the question of become peaceful, Shanti? You have to satisfy the master who is the mind. So who has become master? Not Krishna. Our mind has become master. Then you are disturbed. There cannot be any peace. Mind has got many millions of desire. But our ultimate profit is to go back to Godhead. Because we are suffering on the account of separation from Krishna. This is the cause of our suffering. Instead of becoming servant of God, here we have become servant of our senses. That is because of that is the cause of our suffering. Krishna is a proprietor of universal planets. He is not only proprietor, he is proprietor of one planet, so many planets. And he is Survadam. Suradam Sarva Bhutanam. He is a real friend of everyone. And he knows Jnatva. He knows. Then Shanti. Then there is a Shanti. He is not just a master of one universe. He is universe of all the planets. But greatest thing is, he is Suradam, he is a good friend of ours, he is the best friend of ours. And when we understand this, we have Shanti. In Chaitanya Charitamrita also, there is a stoka called, this is Srila Prabhupada says, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Asanta, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Asanta, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ataiva Shanta. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 19.149. Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Asanta, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ateva Shanta. Which means when you are Bhukti, your liberation, your Kama, you are definitely Asanta. When Krishna Bhakta Nishkama, he doesn't have any desire and he is Shanta. Krishna Bhakta is fully Krishna consciousness. He is Shanta. He is fully confident. Krishna consciousness. I have surrendered to Krishna. I have taken shelter of Krishna. That's it. This is what Krishna Bhakta thinks. And Prabhupada says, Patram Pushpam Tabalantoyam. Here, give food. Krishna says, little fruit, little water, that's all. Yo me bhakta prayachati. He is asking Patram Pushpam Palamtoyam. So don't think he is poor. He is not poor. He is most opulent. But you begin to give him something. Something you give to Krishna. So you become opulent. When you give something to Krishna, you become opulent. Yat karosi yaditnati yajjuhosi dadasyat yat tapasis kante tat kurusya madarpanam. Because you have forgotten to give Krishna, because you have forgotten to give Krishna, therefore Krishna comes down. And he says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Now, Prabhupada says, there is no possibility of getting peaceful. Try to understand Krishna. Your life becomes successful when you are being engaged in Krishna consciousness. So, Janma karma cha me divyam, Janna karma cha me divyam, he says, this verse also he quotes. Taktva deham punarjanma naitima kaunteya. The best achievement of life is how to stop this getting material body again and spiritual body, that is happiness. Then you will get happiness, eternal happiness. Taktva deham punarjanma, he says, naitimam iti Arjuna. Then you will go to the spiritual world. The spiritual world is there. So, if you are fit for going to spiritual world, if you are fit for going to spiritual world, you will get spiritual world. You will get spiritual body. Same way. Spiritual body means Satchidananda Vigraha. Spiritual body means Satchidananda Vigraha. So, Sat means Chit, Mit means full of knowledge. Ananda means blissful. Thus, we want Krishna conscious movement means try to understand Krishna. Prabhupada ends with this. Krishna conscious movement means try to understand Krishna. That is easy. Prabhuji Mataji is having spoken this Srila Prabhupada lecture. Let me give two pastimes now related to water. One is Markandeya Muni. In the earlier also I have told about this Markandeya Muni. Here, Bhagavatam 12th canto, 8th chapter, 9th chapter, 10th chapter talks about Markandeya Muni. Markandeya Muni was a great devotee of Krishna. He wanted to see the illusionary energy of Krishna. Here in Bhagavatam, Saunaka is asking, how he says, how come Saunaka Muni is asking Suta Goswami, how come Markandeya Muni got millions of years of birth and he moved upon the ocean? Then Suta Goswami replies, what happens? One day, Suta Goswami worshipped, after worshipping, actually Markandeya Muni, Prabhupada Mataji, Markandeya Muni worshipped Lord Hari for 6 lifetime of Manu. Bhagavatam says he worshipped Hari Krishna 6 lifetimes. In 7th Manvantara, Lord sent Kamadeva to him to interrupt his austerity. But Markandeya Muni defeated Kamadeva and he, from his own, defeated him by the potency generated from his finances. Satisfied by the prayers of Markandeya Muni, Supreme Lord asked him for benediction. Actually, Naranayana Rishi comes to Markandeya Muni, he says, ask benediction. Then Markandeya Muni says, I want to see Lord's illusion energy. So Markandeya Muni gave a benediction. One day, Markandeya Muni was looting the ashrama. All of a sudden, water comes. Heavy downpour comes, and entire earth is flooded in water. So much so that everything is water, full of water. And Markandeya Muni was left alone in the middle of the water. And Bhagavatam says, the universe with the water and darkness. Markandeya Muni started going and going in the water. And inside the water, there were Timingilas, whales, and all trying to swallow him. He was very much afraid. He was afraid. He was lamenting. Markandeya Muni was thirsty. He was fearful. Without direction, he was going to water. He went on, went on, went on. He went on. And he was very much fearful. And there is no direction for him. Prabhuji, in the water, he was going on, going on. Finally, he sees one small island and there was a banyan tree. In the banyan tree, he sees one leaf, and the leaf is a small baby. Markandeya Muni is attracted toward this baby. He goes on to the near baby, and he was attracted because the baby is growing, effulgent. Immediately, baby swallows Markandeya Muni into him. And inside the baby's belly, Markandeya Muni sees entire universe. He saw river, mountain, everything, all the universe he sees. Also, he sees his own ashrama. After time, he was exhaled. He comes out of the baby's mouth. And again, he's back to water. After some time, entire water disappears. He's back to ashrama. So this is how I have narrated this one because of the water, water, and how Markandeya Muni wanted to see the illusion of Krishna. Prabhupada says, Srila Prabhupada says he don't want to trust. Markandeya Muni did not want to test the illusion of Krishna. He just wanted to see Krishna. But what happened? He suffered and suffered, and so much he suffered in the water, and finally he got back. Another pastime in Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 9th chapter, Bhagirata. Bhagirata brings Mother Ganga on earth. Pastime so goes like this. There is a king called Sagara. Sagara performed Ashwamedha Yajna. The horses needed for Ashwamedha Yajna were stolen by Indra. You all know Indra did this in Prithu Maharaj case also. Here Sagara was performing Ashwamedha Yajna. Indra has stolen his horses mean for Ashwamedha Yajna. Sagara had two wives. One is Sumati and Keshin. While searching for the horses, the sons of Sumati, they dig the surface of the earth, and in this way they dig the trench, and later it becomes Sagara. So the ocean is named as Sagara. The Sagara comes from this Sagara Chakravarti. So what happens to these sons of Sagara? See, those days Sagara's children are going to search for the horses of for father. In our this is surprising, in our Kali Yuga, who cares for father wish? Children are doing their own way, and children doesn't care for her father. Here, Sagara sons started searching for the horse meat for sacrifice. They are digging the ground. They dig the oceans. Then they came upon one Rishi. Who is this Rishi? Kapila Deva. Kapila Deva was sitting there in the great penances, and horses there beside this Kapila Deva. Now, the one big mistake this Sagara's children does. Now, Kapila Muni is in Tapasya. Horses are there. They should have paid obeisances to Kapila Muni and asked for the horses and asked them that we want horses for Yajna and all. But what they did, they jumped to the conclusion. They did not request, they did not pay obeisance to Rishi. They jumped to the conclusion that Kapila Deva Muni has stolen the horses. They started attacking him. Now, what happened? Kapila Deva burned them into ashes. They all died. They are burned. They are burned into ashes. Now, they died. Later on, what happened now? King Sagara's second wife, Keshini. Keshini is a second wife, and there is a son called Asammajasa. His name is Asammajasa, whose son is Amshuman. Amshuman later searched for the in order to deliver his uncle. So, Sagara Chakra's second wife's son, Asamanjasa, his son is Amshuman. Amshuman searched for the horses to deliver their uncle. Then he approached Kapila Muni. And Kapila Muni approached now. This Amshuman is a devotee. He paid obeisance to Kapila Muni, and Kapila Muni was pleased. He said, okay, take these horses for the sacrifice. But then what happened? Amshuman still waited. Kapila Muni understood. He says, I'll give one solution. You have to bring Ganga. Kapila Muni offered instruction. Your uncle can be delivered by water from Ganga. Amshuman then offered respectful obeisance to Kapila Muni and circumambulating left the place, horses of sacrifice. And now Sagara king, he performed yajna from the horses brought back by his son. Now, the story doesn't end here. Son of Amshuman was Dilipa. He tried to bring Ganga for delivering his son, forefather, but he could not succeed. He died. Finally, the son of Amshuman, Bhagirath, he was a great determination. He created a great determination of tapasya, of Ganga. Then Ganga is pleased. Ganga said, okay, I can come down to that. But Ganga put two conditions. Number one, by force of my waves, there will be disturbance in the earth. So we have to take care of that. Second thing, when I come to the earth, my water will be polluted. But Bhagirath requested Ganga that he will take care. Now, how to protect the, how to stop the force of the Gangas coming down to the earth? Here again, Bhagirath put penance on Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva was pleased. Lord Shiva said, agreed. Now, Ganga comes from the heavenly planet to Lord Shiva's jata, that is hair, then comes to comes to the earth to glorify him. So this is how Ganga comes. Then one more thing. Bhagirath told Lord Shiva can protect the force of the wave of Ganga. Second thing, Bhagirath told, when you come to the earth, Rishimunis will be taking bath from your river and they will purify all the sins, whatever contaminated. So not to worry. So after that, Ganga came and Ganga Mata delivered these King Sakara's children from that. So, and also there is, I have not seen here, some story I heard, when Ganga comes, go to the ashrama of one Jahannu Rishi. And Jahannu Rishi's ashrama, she destroyed, and then Jahannu Rishi, out of anger, he drinks entire Ganga. Then again, Bhagirath prays to pay obeisance and a prayer to Jahannu Muni, and from Jahannu Muni's, from Thais, Ganga comes out. That's why Ganga is also known as Jahannami. This story also we know, but this reference is not the Srimad Bhagavatam, some other verse. Thank you, Prabhuji Mataji. Sorry for 10 minutes late. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Prabhuji Mataji, I do not have much intelligence on this. Whatever I could prepare, I prepared by reference to Srimad Bhagavatam and from Srila Prabhupada lecture. Any questions or doubt or any realization, please, you are welcome. This chapter is little complicated, Prabhuji Mataji. Only veterans can take the classes, but we are struggling. We are struggling and to purify ourselves by taking these classes. Please forgive us.
So you have taken already very nicely, Prabhu.
Really?
You have taken Prabhu, one thing, as you said, from Prabhupada's lecture on this subject, you said that Prabhupada says that devotees' only business is glorification of the Lord. And that point very nice. And you also said that Prabhupada also says that devotees never claims any credit. That is two business, glorification and now point in general means whatever extent of small devotion, whatever in our life we are trying. But many a times this is a struggle and we are always get absorbed with, get trapped with this trap. Like say, for example, whatever small we do, and we always expect back of the mind that, okay, that some kind of let. So now these things, how we fight back or try to improve in that front,
like when we talk about when you talk with other people, Prabhuji, you are talking about?
Yeah, in all devotional activities, back of the mind there is always an expectation of, like what Prabhupada is saying, that this is, we hear many times, we speak many times, but back of the mind we always deviate from this principle, like really glorification of the Lord, and we get a back of the mind, and many a times this is the main reason of our differences among devotees, because otherwise there is no reason, correct, Prabhu?
Yes.
So why we get differences? Because we always
so I can say that our backup mind, we are not there is no purity in our backup mind, Prabhuji. So I understand this. My understanding is this lack of purity is our lack of faith in our Krishna, Prabhuji. We do not have faith. To be frank with you, we don't have faith. We take things for granted. And when things are going on nice, we are happy. When things are not going on nice, we are unhappy with Krishna. We said, why Krishna is doing like this? So we do not have faith. Actually, we have to accept him as a whole. Then we can understand. But our contamination is because we are not matured in our devotion service. We are not matured in our chanting. We are not matured in our reading the scripture, Prabhuji. We are automatically doing. We do not have real love for Krishna. That is the reason that yes, we say we are glorifying Krishna. We are saying it, but in our back of mind we are not pure. Our purity is not there because of our. We need to increase our devotion service, and we need to chanting Krishna, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Prabhuji. There is no other solution. Gradually, we'll come out of this. Slowly, we'll come out of this. We are happy, at least we are in this Krishna consciousness. We are in this particular path. So all our impurities, all our sinful reactions will go away. I can only say this much, Prabhuji. I don't know much about this. Only our advancement will help us. On time will tell us, Prabhuji. Only thing is we should not deviate from our Krishna consciousness, from our from all our practices, what we are doing, chanting and Mangalarti and reading scriptures and taking classes. All we should continue.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat
Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for this wonderful class. I think you nicely explained the whole material creation process, right, beginning from Krishna, and how the sound is getting manifested, then air, then form, and then water. And it is so nice to see, to read and hear this, because when we see that all these elements and the whole they are coming from Krishna, and from sound it is sky is coming from sky, then touch is coming, air is coming, and when everything annihilates, it goes in the reverse order. So everything is going back to the source. The things are coming from the source. This, like, sound is the source for the material creation, and the material creation goes back to the sound, and sound goes back to the source, who is Krishna. So when the whole material creation is trying to go back to the source, who is Krishna, then definitely that's the natural path. That's the natural path. We have to go back to the source, and we are not trying to go back to the source. We always try to go away from the source, and that is why we are in such a miserable condition. So this chapter is actually giving the creation process, and then there is another place where is the annihilation process. And if we really see both the processes together, we can find that Krishna, it is clearly told in Bhagavatam that we have to go back to the source, and once we know the source, we know where we have to head towards. So this is a very nicely described chapter, and you have nicely explained today. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your nice class. As Sadasiva Prabhu told, we need to go to the source. Even in this, you explained nicely about the qualities of water. And also in the Bhagavad Gita 7.8, Krishna says, Rasoham apsu kaunteya. So Krishna is the taste of water, okay? The taste of water is the active principle of water. You know that no one like to drink contaminated water or sea water. Even the 70% of the universe is covered by sea. Nobody drinks the sea water because the taste is not there. Okay?
Yeah.
The pure taste of water is mixed there with the salt. So attraction of water mainly depends on the purity of the taste. And this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. Okay, that's why whenever we used to sing, I think one of the class in Maharaj also told that whenever you drink water, you have to say Rasoham apsu kaunteya, Rasoham apsu kaunteya. When you say and drink the water, it get purified and you will get the energy, So, and also one of the class he mentioned that 2 glasses of water and 1 glass of water is given a sound of, some nice musical songs, devotional music. The another one is given some disturbing noise that after the examining through the microscope, that the molecular arrangements are very nicely arranged when the glass of water, which you hear the sound of, musical sounds of divine sounds. Okay. So we know that the characters of the sound, makes it even work on the water. So this is the point which I, in this class, I remember that Rasoham apsu kaunteya. This is one of the very important things which I just thought of, came to my mind. during this class.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna. Thank you,
Nice
Prabhuji.
class, Prabhu. Very nice class.
Thank you.
Nicely
Thank
explained
you.
about the water, and you're taking the full thing, the chapter.
Summary was very nice.
Yeah, the summary of the whole thing by reading out the main points from the translation or purport. That was really wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
The Chaitanya, this thing, can you tell which one it was, Prabhu? From you say, quoted something from Adi Leela.
Yeah, Adil, yeah. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adil, Shivananda is offering food to Lord and then he gets upset, right? That one?
You know, you said about,
That is the one?
no, you said about the some.
Water, offering water by.
Yeah, Chaitanya
Ah,
Mahaprabhu. Yeah. That is which
Okay, I'll
actually?
tell. We are talking Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami, this one?
No, you said about only that your Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got cured when Murari Gupta gave water.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He gave the water. I will give the verse, Prabhuji. I did not write down this verse actually.
Okay.
I'll give the verse to you.
No problem. Sure.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's nice.
It's in Adi Lila, but the verse I did not write down.
No
I'll
problem.
tell you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
You told something about he gave Chaitanya Prabhu gave to water to some Misra Prabhu something. You were telling.
No,
No,
Murari
no.
Gupta.
Yeah, Murari Gupta.
Murari Gupta is a doctor, no physician. He
Yeah.
gave water from the water pot to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when
To digest
suffered.
to digest the food.
Yeah, because Shivananda Sena prepared food with the excessive ghee. He says excessive ghee was there and Lord become sick. So then Murari Gupta gave water, and that water which Murari Gupta gave cured his indigestion problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
New Year calendars are available, Prabhujis and Matajis. Please take it because we have got it from Dubai. And our great Anup Prabhu actually was a key person to bring it from Dubai, all the way from Dubai, to distribute here. So people who are not, you can collect it. It's only 10 dirhams. So there are opportunities. You can give Krishna to different people. Can pass on this. Thank you very much.
Okay, Prabhuji, we'll end the class. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Thank you, Haribo, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
See you
Hare
all
Krishna.
on tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
10 o'clock, the kirtans are performed by children, so please join to encourage the children. So that's why we are actually asking all the small children to participate in kirtan. So they are having an encouragement if all people join. Okay, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Okay, Prabhu, we'll give it to
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.